Hey right guys, Truth Much is Joe here, and today we are watching and reacting to episode 1 of One Tree Hill season 2. I'm so excited for this season. I was meant to start season 2 in about a week and a half's time, I'll be honest, because I finished season 1 last week, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to take a couple of weeks off just to, delve into other shows and, progress on those a bit more, but I can't do it. I've been sat around, I'm just like, I just want to watch One Tree Hill. And I felt like we could do something fun. I've only just kind of done it now, so this could be a flop. And I was thinking maybe I could do it at the end of every season of kind of every show that I watch. But I was thinking like a top 10 moments list. So like it'd be kind of fun to look back over. I felt like when we finished the show of like Friends or One Tree Hill or not so much Glee now because we're at the end of that show anyway, so I'm not going to do it with that. But shows that I've kind of just started, The Vampire Diaries being another, Supernatural being another, of doing a top 10 list. So I've done a top 10 moments of season 1. If you don't care about that, then feel free to skip forward to when the reaction starts, but I felt like it could be kind of fun. And some of these, I was like, they're not so much moments, but just kind of things that existed in the season. But this is what I got for season 1. So number 10, Lucas and Peyton going to save Larry. I felt like Lucas and Peyton were like a relationship that I thought was going to happen throughout the season. We were kind of waiting for it. And I felt like that episode, I think it was I have the episode here somewhere, 12, Crash Course in Polite Conversations, which also, had the awkward dinner scene with Nathan and Dan and all that stuff, which is also very strong. But I felt like them going away kind of gave time to show that they do have chemistry. I wouldn't say I ship them so much, but I really liked that episode and it was just cool for them to get away and do something different. So that was my number 10 moment. Number 9 was Jake standing up to Nikki. Obviously Nikki came back towards the end of the season, and I'm sure she's going to be a storyline in season 2 as well. It'd be weird if she wasn't, so I'm sure she'll come back in season 2 along with this Jake storyline. And I really like that Jake kind of stood his ground and was like, nope, you know what, you broke my heart. You're not going to be like a mum to Jenny, even though she probably will be. But how she is at the moment, obviously that'd be terrible because she's an evil person. But yeah, I loved the episode, which we'll talk about again in a bit, but the episode where they had to bid on the boys that they want to spend the night with. It was that episode where I really kind of started to fall in love with Jake a bit more, just because he was stood up to Nikki and wasn't taking any of her shit. So that was number 9 for me. Number 8 was the getaway to this cheerleading competition. I remember at the time I was like, oh, it'd be kind of like, I felt like we were in need. I even said in that episode that we were in need of a fun episode, like a fun one. And that was that, like them all getting away to delve into this cheerleading competition. We had Mouth absolutely destroying the choreography in a good way, so that was fun. And Brooke and Peyton kind of being friends. Obviously they went through the thing with Lucas hooking up with Peyton, so obviously she felt betrayed by that, but it was nice for them to spend the episode of actually working together. And at the end of the episode, Brooke kind of saying, it was nice to do this, but it doesn't change anything. I felt like that was a very good episode. So that was number 8. At number 7, kind of like the same episode with Jake and Nikki, but Brooke and Mouth going out to spend the night together. I really, really hope we get more of Brooke and Mouth in this season, because they're not in like a romantic way, just like a friendship, them chilling out and vibing off each other kind of way. Brooke and him, I felt like actually had a good bit of chemistry between them in that episode, and they kind of spoke it throughout the season as well, but I felt like after that moment they didn't really interact at all, so it'd be nice if they kind of picked that up in season 2. Mouth kind of got Brooke to open up, and it was nice to see a different side to Mouth as well, and the episode before kind of proved that he was a good character, and then that episode really put him up as one of the best characters, I'd say. So then number 6, yeah, this one wasn't so much a moment, but I felt like it still needed to be mentioned, but being surprised by how great Deb was. As I said at the end of season 1, I felt like she was just, we know what Dan was like, he's just a knob. So I felt like Deb was just going to be like, oh, you chose to be with Dan, so you're going to be kind of boring and just, not that much of a relevant character, because she kind of came in a few episodes late as well, so I felt like she just wasn't going to be that much of a main character. And the first episode she was in wasn't her strongest, to be fair, so I was just like, okay, cool. And then as the episodes went on, I was like, you know what, she is one of the best characters of the entire show. I loved the storyline of always standing up to Dan, going through with the divorce, trying to be a good mum to Nathan, and obviously she said she's made mistakes as well and wanted to own up to those. So I really, really like Deb, and I hope they kind of keep her the way she's been going for season 1, and also the way she was like quite nice to Karen, even though she didn't really need to be, but it was, that was the moment where I was like, oh, maybe Deb's quite good when she just started to be nice to Karen. So yeah, not so much a moment, but it was a thing that I wanted to bring, was being surprised by how great she was. So, and then number 5, staying on the theme of Deb, but Keith and Deb sleeping together at the end of season 1, banger moment. Yeah, like those two, I genuinely hope work on their relationship. I want those two together. Like Deb is amazing, Keith is amazing. I don't want Keith and Karen at all, even though it's probably going to happen because we know how these shows work. Because they're the romance that's been building up since Ep 1 kind of thing. But I don't know. I love Deb, and I felt like they can't have Deb go back to Dan. They can't do that. Keith's just there, and they've slept together. I remember that episode. I was like, oh, it'd be so cool if they got together. And in my head, I was like, it's just never going to happen because Keith's Dan's brother. He loves Karen, he's going away, that kind of thing. And then they had that scene. And I was like, oh, maybe they could... And then it cut away. I was like, oh, okay. And then we have Dan walking into the house and seeing them that they've slept together. So I'm buzzing off that. I think that was a great moment. So that was number 5. Number 4 was kind of like the first big shocking moment of the season. I guess only really like, oh, God moment of the season. You know, there's a lot of twists and turns. But the car crash, Lucas being involved in that car crash, and obviously Keith. That whole scenario of then him being in the hospital and Nathan being there for him, but that whole storyline basically of him. And I like as well that the car crash had consequence throughout the rest of the season. Obviously, it wasn't just something that happened they did for shock value, even though it was there for shock value, but it made Keith and Karen distant. Like, she wasn't so welcoming to him, obviously, when she got back. Because I felt like if that car crash didn't happen, maybe they would have ended up together by the end of season 1. Because the romance was there, but that kind of, she distanced herself from Keith after that car crash. So that had consequence. And then Lucas's shoulder kind of fucking up. That was what lost them the game at the end of season 1. And that's not one of my moments, but I'm actually glad they lost that game as well, because it shows that, they're not just going to win every game ever. Obviously someone barged into it, which, made it worse. He might have got the shot if that guy didn't just nudge him. But yeah, that was a very good little moment, quite shocking. So that was number 4. Number 3, the episode where Lucas and Nathan were on the road, episode 6. The main reason I added this was because episode 6 and that moment, or that storyline in that episode, was the moment I started to really enjoy the show. It was the moment where I felt like I was hooked. And I said, like, at the time, episode 6 was the best episode. It wasn't throughout the season, but at that time it was the best episode for me. And Lucas and Nathan being on the road was a part of that, and Nathan kind of opening up about how his father mentally and I think physically abuses him. Not like in a way you typically think, but I think he said something about his dad like kicking him really hard or something. So, but he definitely mentally abuses him anyway. So him talking about that to Lucas and kind of being like, the next time you think of me and Dan in this perfect life, maybe you'll think about it a bit more. So, and then on top of that, obviously we had Haley and Peyton kind of building on their friendship, and Brooke being there. But yeah, that episode 6 was really, really good, and Lucas and Nathan being on the road was a part of that. Number 2, staying on Nathan and Lucas, but the finale, them two having their bro moment that I've kind of been waiting for, and Nathan saying that he's actually going to miss him and wish that he wasn't leaving Tree Hill, and them hugging it out, and Lucas calling him his little brother. I was waiting for that, and I was like, in my head I was like, okay, a moment like that is going to happen at some point in the show, but I thought it'd be like season 3 or something. So to have it at the end of season 1 and it still feel earned, it felt earned, and like they didn't just shove it in there to have that moment. It felt like, you know what, the 4 episodes prior to that, you could tell they were kind of getting closer anyway and bonding because of Dan actually. So yeah, it was really good to have that moment at the end of the final episode. And then number 1, I felt like, again, this isn't so much a moment, but just a thing that I wanted to mention, because I felt like in my head, I'm like, I look at it and I'm like, it is the best part of the show for me at the moment. They have great characters, they've had great storylines, but the thing I think I love the most is the relationship between Haley and Nathan. He changed dramatically because of Haley. Like, I felt like Haley was the anchor that really made him into, for me, the best character in the entire show. It wasn't Haley, he probably would have just stayed the same as he was. And on top of that, their relationship felt natural. They had the most chemistry out of everyone in the show, like more than Peyton and Lucas, more than Brooke and Lucas, more than Deb and Keith, even though I do like Deb and Keith, but more than Karen and Keith, more than Larry and Karen. All these relationships through the show, the best, that have the most chemistry is Haley and Nathan. So that was probably like the best part of the show for me. And like I said, in season 2, it'll be more so definitely moments of the season that I'll talk about, because I think like I said, being surprised by Deb and the relationship between Hayley and Nathan isn't so much a moment, but it's still needed to be mentioned. So yeah, they're kind of my little top 10 moments of season 1, I guess, or top 10 things of season 1. So I thought that was fun to do. Sorry if this is really boring. If it is, just let me know and I won't even bother writing anything down for season 2. But if it is, if you enjoyed the top 10 moments of the season, let me know and I'll do it for season 2 as well.